could drink. We all could. We were real good at it. They used to bring.
We all could.
Yeah, we all could. We were pretty good. But they would bring in opposing teams, obviously, when they played, and the night before, they would get their best drinker for, say, the Browns, and he would come and meet Fuzzy, and they'd have a drink-off. And my grandpa would have a couple beers to warm up, and the guy would come, and they'd start drinking, and before you knew it, that guy was passed out on the floor, and my grandpa was up on the bar doing jumping jacks and push-ups. That's just who he was, and he was the first one up in the morning. Tough as nails, but as gentle as ever. You'd never know it. But just a strong, strong dude. In Madison, Wisconsin, actually, in the early 70s, there was a scientist who was trying to conduct a measuring tool for forearm strength. So he's having people come and try to push their forearms a certain way to see who get different readings. And they had bodybuilders, they had all sorts of different things. And they had my grandpa come, and no joke, he broke the machine. That's how strong his forearms.
They
had athletes, they had everybody.
Oh my God!
What are you gonna say? You can't say anything to him.
You can't really be mad at the guy that just broke your machine. You're like, oh yeah, sorry, dude, my bad.
That's some
what are you gonna say? I mean,
wow.
What's that?
Saying that is some strength. I mean, just wow. I mean,
oh yeah,
that's a hard muscle to develop to be that strong. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, and if you notice in a lot of his photos of him playing, you'll see him when he's coming around the edge on a sweep. He's usually got his arm up, and his forearm was basically just a brick. And he would lay one into every single person he ran into, and he's just absolute crazy. And I found out a couple of years ago, my dad told me that when he was a young boy, 6, 7, 8 years old, he used to get those two curled ice picks, and he used to lug huge ice blocks upstairs to different restaurants and places like that when he was a little boy for years and years. So that explained his forearm strength for sure.
See,
all I know is I feel bad for any defender coming across with that arm.
And see, that was an era too, where you weren't allowed to use your hands, so that was a tool that was a huge thing in his repertoire. Man, that is amazing. These are the cool nuggets I like to hear and for people to get to share. These are just things that most people don't hear about on a day-to-day basis. It's cool as heck.
I gotta say, Fred, or actually asked. So, did you get to meet any of his other players when you were growing up around him and always with him? Did you ever get to meet guys like Bart or Paul? Or Forrest? Like, did you ever get to meet Jerry?
Oh yeah, lots of them. All of them. I can't think if
I'm jealous.
I did it. I know it's hard. I feel bad when people ask me that. Cause
no. It was awesome to grow up during that for you.
It's crazy. I was very blessed. My dad was even more lucky because, he'd wake up on Christmas morning and Max McGee and Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor would be hanging out with presents for him. I mean, that's like beyond anything I can even fathom in my brain. But no, me growing up, spent a lot of time with Max, Paul, Jerry. Boyd Dowler was a big part of our family. Boyd Dowler is my aunt's godfather.
Really?
So we just, everyone was kind of interacting, and there was always a lot of golf tournaments and parties. And
who was the best golfer?
Well, they would all say themselves.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen them for a long time. I was really young for most of them, and I wasn't usually paying attention. I was trying to steal the golf cart. But it's such a hard thing I try to explain to my kids all the time the difference in life and the way that these guys looked at life, the way that these guys lived life. Like, they were gods. I mean, they were kings. I mean, they had the whole world on their eyes on them, looking at them, watching them. I mean, they were the dynasty. They were the '60s Lombardi's Packers. And it's like, it's so hard to like put that into words to have someone understand what that's like. But man, those guys every day, any one of them, every single day, woke up with a smile on their face and made sure that they went out and did something for somebody else. The most caring, giving people I've ever known in my life.
That's awesome.
You know what?
Wow. And
I'm just in awe from hearing that.
I know it's been awesome that you've been able to come on and share some of this stuff with us, because these are the things that authors don't get to hear, because those are it's maybe not as glamorous. It gets taken out of books, but to me these things are interesting because I like to know who these guys were off the field, because it gives you a bigger window of. I think a lot of these guys in that era could be gentle and you could have the experiences you did, because on the field that was their release, and because the rules were different, it was a lot more barbaric, and they could really go out and so they didn't have this aggression off the field. It was just a different time, like you said, I guess, and it's interesting to hear that these guys hung out together, and like you said, we're always happy, smiling, giving, caring. It's a lot of stories you don't hear. You hear about Max McGee being drunk and hungover and playing well, or Paul Hornung having arguments and getting traded to New Orleans and stuff like that, but not hanging out and drinking contests with the opposite team. It's cool.
Well, I've got plenty of stories, guys.
Oh, I'm sure we can go on for like a whole decade of listening to just stories. Oh, Fred, it's been an honor having you on, man. Just talking football now, and I'm sure being on, I'm pretty sure you always get the, oh, hey, tell us about your grandfather. Oh, hey, tell us about this guy. Like, well, we wanted to hear maybe a couple things, but we wanted to get your view on today's Packers. And actually, I've got one more question. I know Jay wants to wrap it up. I know he's probably going to kick my butt. How well do you view these Packers? I know it's a different era of football, but these Packers today, like this year, 2019, to like the '60s Packers, like with the defensive talent you're seeing, the guys like Jones and Rodgers and Adams, like, did you think they're matching up at all, or?
Oh, that's so hard to answer.
I know.
I wish I could give you an answer, man, but
that's one of the most loaded questions I think you've ever been asked. Like, he's basically spewing blasphemy no matter how he answers that question, Dave.
Yeah, no, you know what? I get into an argument a lot. I get into an argument a lot with people about that, and they could never beat Bart Starr. Such different times. Bart was great for everything that Bart did. Aaron Rodgers is great for everything he does. Neither nor could have done what they did in neither one of their, respected eras without other people. There are certain things that I miss about the '60s football compared to today's football, and that's, a little bit more of the personability that you had. There's such a distance, such a gap between us and the professional players, as opposed to like in the '60s that there wasn't. You used to go to dinner club and there'd be, Nitschke 2 tables down. I mean, that was just that's how it was. Now it's just so rare to really get to run into guys, and I miss that part of it. But yeah, I mean, you can't compare just such different games, such different eras. I look at, when my grandpa played, and then when my dad played, and then when I played, and now I watch my son play, and it's like, I mean, it's just so different. Some of the kids, I watch him play, and some of the kids on his team, and even him, I'm like, holy crap, I would have died. I would have never been able to catch that guy. So I just think that the league and the players keep getting bigger and faster and stronger. And, my grandpa was 6'2", 240, playing left guard. I'm 6'2", 240. And he was going against guys like, Buck Buchanan and, monsters. And I'm like, no way. I would have died. But they were tougher back then.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it that. The rules didn't protect them, and what Jay said, it was a little more barbaric. And I just actually won a Jerry Kramer TK helmet that's got the inscription, but I looked on the inside of the helmet. Man, they did not have any protection at all. Like, yeah, it was a hard shell, but there was nothing inside of there to take those blows off.
Nope.
No, it was definitely a different era, and you have to appreciate what they went through. And then, like you said, they didn't get they didn't get to disappear once they left the field. They lived more of a regular type life where they were more accessible. They didn't have to deal with social media. But the flip side there is, like you said, they were in the public eye more frequently. So if they did screw up, they didn't need social media to tell everybody. The whole town was going to know anyway because they all saw it with their own two eyes.
Yeah.
Well, Fred, why don't you just shout out everything all your social media outlets again? Right before we get up, we're going to wrap it up, and we want to say thank you very much. And we hope we can get you on again, sometime here, maybe during the season or whatever, and talk a lot more about Packers football, and then, throw in a few more stories that you got stashed away in that bag back there that we want to hear definitely. So go ahead and shoot out your social media outlets there and plug out how we can get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can find me at Thurston XXII on Twitter, or you can look up Sweep Studios, Sweep as in the Power Sweep, Sweep Studios. I'm on all of the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, all of them. Come chat some football with me, and I would love it. I'd love to come back, guys, anytime. Let me know. We got plenty of stories, and we'll make sure it happens.
We loved it. Every
bit
of it.
Time. And folks, if you're out there listening and, even after 2.5 hours, you're still riled up and you can't sleep and you got that keyboard itch, you want to do some more talking, you want to go on to NFL Addictions on Facebook.com to get all of your takes, type your takes, get your chats in on NFL news. It's not a hot take site, though, and it's not a trash talk place. So keep it cordial. Keep it, respectable. Be nice to each other.
Very good football debate.
It's NFL Addictions on Facebook.com. And then, if that still doesn't itch your scratch or whatever, and you like Dave and you like to play raffles, and you got a man cave that you want to fill up, but you don't want to spend all that money on autographed stuff that's authenticated, or you really want that team grill set, but you don't have $500 to buy it, your wife won't let you spend the money, go to Raz Addictions on Facebook.com and play their version of the raffle to win all kinds of NFL cool stuff, from authenticated, signed memorabilia to the team grilling sets to, I don't know what. Dave, you've won like 12 things now in the last 5 days or something like that. I mean, how many times you winning again just right now? I mean, you always seem.
No, I won a couple of things. It was a big old tent, Packers tent, and it's the tailgating kit. So it comes with like a pop-out table and chairs. I just won, like I just mentioned, the Jerry Kramer TK helmet, full inscription helmet with the a Paul Hornung signed jersey as well.
That's right. So that's, again, for all your NFL chatter, that's NFL Addictions on Facebook.com, and for all that all cool stuff to play their version of the raffle, Raz Addictions. We want to thank again Fred Thurston for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you, brother.
Thank you, all you people out there, for listening to us. Thank you, Dylan, for the great time on the Fantasy Files tonight. And remember, hopefully he hasn't let us down, and Dylan's already got it up. You want to vote for my roster and screw Dylan and Dave's crappy roster. I got Aaron Rodgers on mine. I got Aaron Rodgers. I got MVS. I got Aaron Jones. I got the most Patrick-centric and the best players. You just vote for my stuff because y'all like me more, right? No, I'm just kidding. But go vote anyway on the best roster on what we did today. Got anything to say, Dave, before we take off?
I'm just glad we got this guest on, and Fred, that